Hi everybody, Witchfinder here from Horror Screams Video Vault. Today I thought I would share with you some of the films that I've been watching throughout April. Most that I've seen online screeners and things like that, but I do have some DVDs and Blu-rays to go through. But first I thought I'd share with you a couple of the things that I've been reading. First thing is a graphic novel released by Self-Made Hero, which I believe is a UK company that deals with comics and graphic novels and things like that. This was the Lovecraft Anthology Volume 1. Obviously, H.P. Lovecraft's based on, and this one's got the stories that the majority of people would probably remember or know of, like The Call of Cthulhu, The Dunwich Horror, Dagon, stuff like that. But it's really well done. Different artists, different writers for each story. And I'll try and get a really good image, which I thought was a really good image. There you go. Hey. So I read that one, which there will be a review going up on the site shortly. But so there was Volume 1, and currently I am reading the Lovecraft Anthology Volume 2, which has obviously more of his stories in it, but they are ones that not a lot of people would really know unless you're really into H.P. Lovecraft. Other than probably in here, From Beyond, that'd probably be the only one that a lot of people would know of. Just remove my bookmark, look at that. My Hellraiser bookmark. So yeah, as I said, nearly finished it. But again, it's written by several artists, writers, and then drawn by several people as well, like in the first book. And each one is different. So I've been really enjoying these. I have got one more to read, which is The Mountains of Madness? Maybe? Perhaps? That sounds about right. At the moment I have John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness in my head, so... But yeah, so that's a couple of the things I've been reading this month. But on to a couple of the things I've been watching. The previous video I put up, I've shown you some of my recent purchases and things like that. But so today I decided I'd watch one of them, and it was one of the ones that I haven't seen before. It's by Umberto Lenzi, and it stars the late Thomas Villan, who was also in Don't Torture a Duckling, Lucia Fulci film, and he was in The Cynic, the Rat, and the Fist, I believe. Something else that I own, but I can't recall what it is at the moment. But no, it's gone. But yeah, it's a good film. So yeah, so I watched this today, and Thomas Villan's playing pretty much like a vigilante kind of character, and he's called Rambo, which sounds like an Italian name, but apparently it's not. And he goes around wearing just basically a leather jacket, and at times he's wearing a scarf over his hair, but in a few scenes he's wearing this very fetching woolly red bonnet hat thing, which doesn't really go with his character, but hey, who am I to judge? But it was really good, it was fun. It's probably one of Lenzi's best sort of Italian police crime caper type films, and the music was really good for this. Yeah, it's not like you know, Stelvio Soprani or Ennio Morricone or something like that. But for what it is, this movie was really fun, and I definitely recommend picking up this 88 films release, either on the DVD or the Blu-ray, because picture quality in this was amazing, considering a lot of people wouldn't have heard about this film unless you're into this kind of stuff. So yeah, so that came out in 1975, but you can tell it's based in the 70s, and of course J&B turns up, as you would expect in an Italian movie. So I watched that earlier today, and then a few weeks back I watched another 88 films release, which is also out on DVD and Blu-ray. And no, I'm not sponsored by 88 Films, before you're wondering. I watched Joe D'Amato's Beyond the Darkness. Now, I've seen this cover and poster in several books over the years. I was always intrigued about watching it, read a few things about it, and always wanted to pick it up, but never really found anywhere to get it. So, of course, when this release came out, I was going to pick it up straight away. So, the gist of it is, because it's a very confusing story considering it's a D'Amato film, it's basically a psycho-style story of a young loner who lives under the sort of the rules of a bloodthirsty matriarch, and who enjoys taxidermy of animals, but eventually goes on to doing kidnapping people and obviously taxiderming them as well. It's got some of probably D'Amato's most graphic kills in it, considering a lot of his other stuff, such as Absurd or Prepare for Name to be Slaughtered, and for Fagus the Beast. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But yeah, this was quite slow, but it's worth picking up just to see how he went on to do other stuff. But so there's that. The other one, again, another 88 films release, also out on DVD and Blu-ray, on the Italian collection, is Absurd, which I have seen before. Don't know if it was under this title or it was under something else, but I had seen it before. Again, it's a D'Amato film, and it stars George Eastman, who was also in And for Fagus the Beast, which was, this is considered, it's kind of a sequel to that film, even though really it's not. There's not much similarities other than it stars George Eastman and it's directed by Joe D'Amato. Other than that, it's not really similarities between the two. George Eastman doesn't have to do a lot in this film. He just basically walks around trying to get into places and kills people. There's again a few graphic scenes in this. There's a scene with, if I remember correctly, I think it was a nurse. There's a nurse, and George Eastman character's believed to be dead, and he's on a. Oh, is he dead? No, he might not be dead. He might be just. He's either dead or he's in a hospital for some reason, unconscious maybe. And the nurse goes to take some blood from him, and he grabs the needle or some kind of medical implement, and he forces it down the side of her neck, and eventually it comes through. It's quite graphic the way it goes in, and you see her eventually collapse on the floor, obviously dead. But it's the final scene of the film, which I won't give away because it will. It's one of them. Not, I wouldn't say it's not quite. It's not quite like, you know, Felissa Rose's character in Sleepaway Camp. That kind of oh my god moment. But there is a moment in it towards the end where you're like, oh. So there's that. Oh, I should mention that on this there is two versions, and I watched the English version, which is a 90-minute version. then there's the Italian version, which is 85 minutes long. I don't know what the difference is between the two because I've only watched the one version. So if you have watched the Italian version, let me know in the comments below what the difference is. So there's that. And then we are back with another one, which is a recent purchase, but I have seen a couple of times. And it's described as, by certain people, as a classic zombie film. Now, you tell me if you believe this to be a classic zombie film. Is Jean Rowland's Zombie Lake a classic film in your opinion? To me, it's not. As I said in a previous video, it's not his best work. It's not the greatest zombie film. There's possibly the worst zombie makeup ever, which kind of looks like it just got some green paint and slapped it on their face and then told them to go in the water, which of course the paint comes off and it's not very effective. And there's a scene in it with I think they're a volleyball team. It's a girl volleyball team who drives up to the lake where, of course, the zombies have turned up from, and they decide to go skinny dipping in the lake because why not? That's what you do in the middle of, I'm guessing it's France they're in. That's what people would have done. They would have gone to a place where there's mysterious things going on instead of just doing the game that you would want to play. You get off naked. You get naked and jump into the lake. Of course, some of the zombies get the girls. Basically, it's just an excuse for a bit of titillation, which, you know, people ain't going to argue about. There is some pretty girls there, but it's not great. The locals blame what's going on as the ghosts of the lake, or the superstitious lake. There's a journalist that comes in that apparently knows everything about it, like you do. You always have one of them sort of characters turn up in the film. But so French horror, not the greatest zombie film. It's one of few French zombie films actually, but it's worth watching once. I picked it up because I wanted to support this new label. So that said, this is #1 in the new series, and yeah, it's not a great zombie film. Next up is a film from Wild Eye Releasing. As I previously mentioned in the other film, starred mentioned Felissa Rose kind of moment. This actually stars Felissa Rose, and as you can see, she gets top billing. Now, I'll explain why in a minute, but this is basically an anthology film that's set in 3 different periods. If I remember correctly, it's the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Basically, the 3 stories have a wraparound story, which is this house where a couple have come in and they want to rent the place, and then as the estate agent's going around with them, each story comes along and you get told about the anthology story begins, and then there's one where there's a storm going on and for the murders that happened around that. There's one with which I think the best part of the anthologies is a serial killer who traps a woman in a cage. That doesn't sound original already, but traps a woman in a cage in their basement, but she's kind of got like Stockholm syndrome, and he gets her to rate the kills that he does to these people in the basement on like a scale one, so like an Olympic murder spree. It's entertaining. The conversation between the 2 characters is quite funny, considering, you know, it's a killer and it's a victim. But it's entertaining. And then the 3rd story is obviously not memorable because I can't remember it. It's something to do with a family that's borrowed a lawnmower or some kind of garden machinery off a neighbour, and they go round there to go have a nice meal with him, and he's a bit upset because the father of this family's thrown away his garden machinery. So of course, I'm angry that you've destroyed my garden machinery, so I'm going to kill your family. Because that's what people do, I think, don't they? No? Maybe? But it's an interesting film. I really enjoy it. I like anthology films because this one's done by 2 directors. So of course you got them directing 2 things, but you get the anthology films where it's things like High 8, Independent 8, which was a series of short films. Short films directed by different directors. They all got given kind of a basis of what they had to do, and off they went. And they obviously had different stories. Now the good thing about those sort of anthology films is that if you don't like the first story or second story or whatever, you know in like in 10-15 minutes time there's going to be another story coming along which hopefully is better. This one, the first one was pretty strong. The second story was, in my opinion, the best story. But the third one was a real letdown. There's a very, very attractive redhead estate agent in this who has a very interesting setting technique, which if you watch the film or have watched the film, you will know what I'm talking about. In regards to Felicity Rose, who, as again, is got top billing of this film, she is in the film just as the mother of that family I mentioned earlier, and she doesn't have to do a lot. To be honest, it was probably an easy paycheck looking by it. She didn't have to do a lot, and I didn't really see it making any difference to share. I mean, you could have picked anybody to come in and play the role. It's just more of that, Felicity Rose is a name in the horror genre, so of course they did that. There's loads of extras on this that are longer than the actual film themselves, but I enjoyed that. That was a good film. It was a little bit different. It's Realm of the Damned, which, as you probably just about see there, is it's an animated motion comic. Now, I believe the comic book came first, which would make sense. So this release is really good. It comes in a nice slipcase, and then you've got a DVD, and inside you have a mini book which tells you about a lot of different characters, and then there's some character cards based on the characters obviously in the film, and then try and get the rest of it. So there's the rest. So you got that one. There. It is well drawn. Not a lot of people are fans of this. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but there was a Doctor Who comic, TV series film thing came out. I think it's based on the Lost episodes where they animated those stories with obviously just the audio they didn't have any video footage. So this is basically that. It's basically just the drawings of the comic animated in emotion. It's not a perfect animation. It's nothing, we're not looking like Disney or anime or something like that. This is bare to bones. I'll get there in a minute. Bare to bones animation, but it has an interesting story. Apparently, there's supposed to be 4 of these. I don't know if it's actually whether they actually do it, but there's supposed to be 4 of these There's this one, then obviously there's 3 more ones, but it's also a graphic novel, and then there's a CD out from the band that was involved in this, which I'm just checking on the back to see if I can find it, and I can't, but it's worth picking up the album that goes with this, if you can find it, or just listen to it online, if you can find it. I think it might be on Amazon, actually, because the music goes together. It's sort of black metal, doom metal, that kind of stuff. And this is pretty much the Vatican have tried to control everything, and there's evil everywhere. Of course, there's only one man that can save the day, and that man is Van Helsing. He comes along, he tries to stop everything, but he's kind of a drunk and, kind of lost soul, basically. And then he goes round, and then it sort of turns to, should he be helping humankind and all this kind of thing, or should he be trying to protect the monsters that are obviously invading the Earth? So there's that. It's interesting. It's short. It won't be for everybody. It's about 56 minutes long. As I said, it's not for everybody, but it's worth picking up, just to watch it once or something like that. But then a little bit something different. I went back to sort of like the 60s with exploitation and grindhouse, that kind of stuff. This is from Vinegar Syndrome. It's part of their driving collection. And it is, well, it's actually 2 films on here. There's Lonely Sex, which you can see there, and Anatomy of a Psycho. Now, Anatomy of a Psycho is, Anatomy of a Psycho was from 1960. The story is pretty basic. A man goes into prison, and he's on death row, and his brother is trying to help his convict brother get out of prison, legal ways, and eventually his brother gets executed on death row, so he decides to go take revenge on the people that he believes was responsible for his brother getting electrocuted or whatever his punishment was. And then eventually, this goes through the film, and he's going around killing off, the jury, the judge, the lawyer, things like that. And it all comes down to the end of the police taking on the brother in basically a climatic sequence, which it's not climatic at all. The actor that plays the brother who goes around through this film, he's a bit wooden. So, despite the fact that he's good in what he's doing, you can't really get fully involved with the character because of how wooden his acting is. But it's shot, obviously, 1960, so you'd expect it to be black and white. But the next one on this was The Lonely Sex, which is the year before. It was 1959. I think this is the better film on this double bill, and this is it's a thriller, sexploitation, psychodrama, all that kind of stuff all mixed together. And it, again, black and white. This one was actually really short. It's 57 minutes long, and follows a young girl. No, sorry, it follows a man who's an outcast from society, lives, out in the woods. Nobody wants to socialise with him, and he comes across this young woman in the woods. She drops her some details of her as a book with her name or address in it, stuff like that. And of course, he goes off to try and meet up with her. The locals of the town don't like him. There's really much explanation as to why they don't like him, but it all deals with sort of mental health and that kind of stuff. But there's a character in this that lives with the man who's the father of the daughter, and I can't remember his name is, but I don't know. Other than the fact that the father says that this guy is his best friend, or a really good friend of his, so he wants him to have at least have a roof over his head. He lets this man move in with him, and he is a total sleazebag towards the girl who I don't know how old she is in the film, but he's total sleazebag towards her, and I really don't get how the character of the father, having picked up on it, or the daughter might have said to the father, you know, your friend's a bit, I don't like him, can we get rid of him? But he seems to stick around, and of course there's a final sequence at the end of the film where the sleazebag character and the guy with the mental health has a clash, and then who ends up winning? Is it us? Well, you decide. And said, other than all these other online screeners I've watched recently and films, there was a film called, bear with me, what was it called? It was called nope, I can't remember it. Oh, it was Strip Club Massacre. 2017 film. Title sounds interesting. Strip Club Massacre. You know what you'd expect. And it stars Erin Brown, who most people would probably know more under the name of Misty Monday. So she's in it, and she plays the character of Jazz, who is the main stripper, I would say, at the strip joint called Tease. And other than the fact that it's basically it's just and it's loads of women walking around in their underwear, lingerie, getting naked, stripper poles, all that kind of stuff. There is no real storyline other than the fact that there's this girl who, at the very beginning of the film, she finds out that she loses her job. She goes back to her place. She finds her roommates having sex with her boyfriend, so of course she's got no job now. She's now homeless, and she has no boyfriend. So she goes to move in with one of her closest friends, apparently, who has this massive house, loads of money. So why she didn't decide she wanted to live with her in the first place, I don't know. But she goes there, and at first she starts a job at the strip joint just as a waitress. Realizing she's not making a lot of money, she goes into doing the actual stripping. Now, there isn't many scenes of the actual stripping and all that kind of stuff. There isn't really a lot to see. But the film is nearly 2 hours long, and it's the gist of the film is basically that the girl is supposed to, she's had all this bad stuff happen, and then she's going to go through the film and then come out at the end as this, hopefully, a better person. But it all comes out that, she's going to get revenge on all the wrong things that's happened throughout her life. Other than the fact that the film stars Erin Brown, aka Misty Monday, the film is rather dull. There's not a lot of blood, which, if you put massacre in the title, I would expect at least, I don't know, a massacre. A lot of blood, gore, not just a couple of slit your throat, but you don't really see it. It's just, the standard, your arms in the way, the camera's off shot a bit, and it goes like that, and then you get the blood across there. There's that, and then there's a few sort of impaling scenes, which again you don't see any of that. So there isn't really a lot of blood. There is a bit of nudity. So people have to weigh up whether they want the nudity or the blood, but they're both pretty low. So to me, the film itself, being strip club, you would expect nudity. Massacre, you expect blood. Both of those two are pretty much non-existent. As I said, the story is very thin, and the fact that they stretched it out for nearly 2 hours long, I have absolutely no idea. It was a hard slog to watch. I personally didn't like it. Maybe people out there do like it. I usually like, a lot of indie films. That's the sort of stuff that I enjoy. Independent films and exploitation, grindhouse, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I really enjoy. But for me, this was, I wouldn't say it was bad. I have seen worse films. I've seen way worse films than Strip Club Massacre. But considering the title of the film, it's not what I would expect it to be. So I would presume it comes out this year. So if you do get a chance to watch it, check it out for yourself, see what you think of it. Let me know in the comments once you've watched it what you think of it. I might actually put the trailer down in the description box. So have a watch of it. Decide by the trailer whether you think you want to watch it. It's actually coming out from. Yes, it is. It's coming out from Brain Damage Films, or Midnight Releasing, one of them. So it's coming out from them. So keep an eye out for it. So, God, this is a long video. It's as I said, there's loads of other films I've watched throughout the month. Come next month, I'll be a bit more organised. I will start writing down the films that I've watched throughout the month, whether it's, DVD, Blu-ray, or stuff I've watched online, that kind of stuff. If there's anything you would recommend me to watch, as you can tell from my t-shirt, don't know if you can see, Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. I obviously like older horror films as well, and Hammer, Tygon, Amicus, stuff like that. But go as far back as you want, or anything recent that you think I might not see. Let me know in the comments, or just drop me a message on the various places. The links will be below for the different social media links. Let me know if I should check out a film, or if there's a film that you've seen and you think, people need to know about that, but it's so underground that it would probably not see the light of day unless you're really into those sort of films. So again, let me know what you think. And we have just reached over 50 subscribers, which I think is brilliant, and I thank you all for coming on board, subscribing to the channel. If we get to 100 subscribers so this is basically the end of April, so we'll say the end of May. If we get 100 subscribers or more, I will do a giveaway. Now, the giveaway, I know a couple of things that will be in it already, but I will put a few things in there. I'll put a couple of DVDs or Blu-rays. Try and put things that people will be interested in. I won't show you what's in the box. I will give you a gist of what's in the box as I'm doing it. But that's for now. So if you share the videos around, like and subscribe us, comment down below, try and get as many people involved over this channel as we can. We'll do the giveaway, and as I said, I'll start writing down all the videos, the films that I've watched, and then we'll do this video. We'll see how this goes. We'll develop a video series like this, and go from there. So again, thanks for watching. Give the video a thumbs up. Comment, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. For those that have already subscribed, thank you very much. And be sure to keep checking out the website, as the links are down below, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.